Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Feliz martes. Feliz terça-feira. Como vai? Como vai? How are you doing today? So yeah, today's Tuesday, which means we're going to do squats. And if you watched yesterday's video with one of the 3 people who watched it, didn't have as much strength yesterday as I did the prior Monday. That's okay, because again, I know I'm fighting that residual fatigue from Friday's session where I did a bunch of deadlifts and shrugs and all that kind of stuff. So I know that, right? I know what I did in the past, and I know that's going to affect the future in terms of what my capabilities are going to be. So today, continuing kind of on the trend of knowing that I need to throttle back some, doing my safety squats, did not do any ramping, just did sets of 5 at 135 for 5 sets, and then I did 3 sets of 10. Those were just kind of a nice, let's get a little bit of a pump going. And when you're doing the safety squat bar squats like I do to a box, which changes things completely, and you're trying to explode to initiate the motion from the bottom, you will fatigue yourself pretty quickly because you're going from dead stop. There's no elastic energy stored as one normally does in a squat, and that's why the squat is sometimes a heavier lift than even a deadlift in a lot of people, because they've built the skill to tighten those hamstrings and store a lot of that elastic energy to drive themselves back up out of the hole. So anyhow, having said that, those 3 sets of 10, they were a little bit tougher than one might imagine 135 pounds should be, especially trying to explode out of the hole, trying to move as quick as I can for a 50-year-old guy. So yeah, and also in this video, I'm going to talk through, again, the safety squat bar setup, the execution again, in case if it's of any use to any of you good folks out there. All right, so that was today's workout. What else do I want to talk about today? Kind of a life workout analogy. It's one of those things where, you're kind of putting in the work, just getting stuff done, and kind of don't know what the payoff is sometimes. And I had one of those days today. Not in the gym, but my own professional life. Been putting a lot of effort into moving things forward. I'm trying to get things developed and get things out there for them to be useful products for a very niche but very important community to use. So been doing this for a while. There's not a lot of people that do what I do. That's cool. So today I had an interview with a notable place of employment, and I wasn't expecting much. Given the conditions that they are now, I just kind of, I threw my name in the hat, so to speak, just to see what would come of it. They wanted to have an interview. Then I went into this interview, again, not expecting a lot. This is like a junior position that I put, myself out there for. And I do not look like a person who should be taking on a junior position, but maybe in some ways I should be. But anyhow, went through the interview, and it was a really great interview. The person read my resume, talked to somebody that I know, and got a feeling like, okay, this guy could do these other things. It was thinking strategically and kind of on board with things that I've been thinking about and things that I might like to do with my career. And so it was a really good conversation, and hoping to have another conversation with these folks, and maybe some more of the other people that work there as well. Put our heads together and see how I can benefit them as a team player, and what they can do for me, so to speak. Again, looking for reciprocity in the workplace, which is something interesting to pursue. I mean, just an exchange of my skills for money. Let's see what we can work out. But how does that, again, go back to an analogy in the gym? Sometimes you're just in there putting in the work. And you kind of do it, in my case, I do it almost completely in a vacuum, right? I make these videos and post them, but again, it's not a huge amount of people that watch them. And mainly just doing it for myself. And a lot of my work is kind of, again, it's fairly niche. It's not a huge community, and it's not quite a vacuum, but sometimes feels like it. But you put in the work, do what you can do, get into the gym every day you can, stay consistent, do things smart, and just keep working. And eventually those things will pay off. In terms of the gym, setting new PRs or just, overall health metrics, being able to do things that other people can't do. One of the things that I'm noticing is by virtue of trying to be healthy again, getting out there, getting my steps every day, staying in the gym, doing other stuff, staying mobile, staying healthy. I am now noticing that people my age that are out there in the news, they don't look as good as I do. And as much as that sounds like I'm boasting or bragging, I don't have a great self-esteem in a lot of cases. Sometimes I think I look like a pile of poo, and so I work hard at getting myself better. And I still know that I got a long way to go. But man, I look at some of these people who have a lot of money, access to things that I don't necessarily have access to, and they are letting quality of life slip through their fingers. So there's a way that I can see now directly as I talk through it, how the gym can sometimes pay back with that slow and constant grind. What is it doing for you? How is it improving your life? You're doing the same thing sometimes at work. You're just going through it, but you're trying to get better, trying to do the right thing, trying to develop good products, try and move things ahead. And eventually it'll get recognized, we hope. And in the case of the gym, keep moving forward. Again, I see people out there in the news, they're my age, they do not look great. And they have access to wonderful things. I know this. They can make their own schedule. A lot of these people, they've got access to at least the same healthcare I have access to, if not better. And, if they've got money, then they can be paying for personal trainers. They can be paying for better gym equipment than I have. They can be paying for supplements that I don't have, what have you. And it's the turtle that wins the race, right? That's the old Aesop's fable, right? It's the turtle that wins the race because it's the constant commitment to improvement, constant commitment to moving forward. That's what gets us across the finish line. All right. That's enough for me today. Hope all of you had a great Tuesday, great week ahead, and I hope that you start to see your efforts in the gym, in your personal life, and your professional life all start to pay dividends. Peace. This is my third set, 135 pounds, doing these nice and light. So we can do another walkthrough on safety bar squats and how I execute them. So again, safety bar. This is an Edge Fitness safety bar. I've mentioned that in other videos. typical pad on the shoulders, pad on the neck. This is Schedule 80 steel pipe, a couple blocks welded to do the offset. Mimics pushing the weight a little bit further forward in terms of longitudinally through your body. So it's further forward than a back squat, but not quite as far forward as a front squat. I'm going to be doing these squats with the hands kind of high on the handles, up close to the pads. That helps me control it better. Not lifting heavy. Just want nice control, especially because on the ascent, I'm going to try and stand up as fast as possible. So let me walk through the setup. All right, so first thing, I get myself kind of jammed into the yoke here, as it were. Then I step forward, get my body underneath, pop it up. Now notice I took a little bit of a breath before I popped it up. That's to get a little bit more core stability. We don't want to lift it without some sort of strength in the spine there. Now I'm going to take a big breath. I'm going to get as rigid as possible through the core, through my abdomen, and then I'm going to squat. So again, when I'm setting these up, I'm going to pop it off the hooks here. And once I'm standing upright, I'm going to take the big breath that I need to get set everything to then go ahead and do the squats. Now I can relax. One of the nice things about these box squats is that I'm sitting on a box. So at the bottom, I can transfer most, if not all, the weight to the box itself. However, I then need to take another breath to stand up. But I can just do this. In one rep, do one breath. All done. Just going to walk it back in. Let it drop. And I am done with the set. Set 4. Set 5. So I did 5 by 5 at 135. So what am I going to do now? Well, I did 5 sets of 5, but I'm going to do a few sets. And I did those rapid fire, so I'm kind of out of breath. Going to try and do some sets of 10 here. Just do a few, and that should be good. Just trying to basically get some heat going in my knees and my quads. Staying light. I'm trying to get an adaptation, but in this case today, I don't want to ramp the weights. I want to take it nice and easy. All